Hi, I'm Refila Medisele, Africa's first albino model and host, and you're watching Joburg Today.
Well, as one gets older or sort of emerges after, say, a big break opportunity of these fancy schools, you start to realize that not everybody thinks you're so wonderful, or you start to get bad reviews. Other musicians don't necessarily love what you do, and it's an interesting experience just to try to find yourself in reaction to that. And is it real? Is it founded? Must I ignore it? Is there some element of truth that I should listen to? So those are always interesting experiences to deal with when you get attacked, publicly in the paper the next day that I didn't like something. And thankfully it hasn't happened very often, but the few times it has happened, you just have to have a kind of emotional security blanket or emotional stability to read it with thick skin, but see if there's something there that maybe you can grow from or learn. So there's those experiences in life, and then also we were talking the business of music is very tricky, or let's say different. To walk on stage and play in a certain manner and listen to beautiful music is one thing. To walk off stage and get an email from your manager that you didn't do this, and how can you play it like this, and all the business things that need to happen outside of music can be very jarring. So trying to find a balance between the performing world, where you need to just be relaxed and get out there and express, versus the business side of it, where you're trying to survive and make deals that suit everybody that you're dealing with.
What's interesting is the whole business thing, yeah, I can understand, drove you crazy, but at the same time, you decided to be a part of it by promoting classical music within Africa. I mean, how did that come about?
Well, it's I had a manager here that helped me get concerts for quite a while, Skolk Visser, and he was actually an impresario that promoted concerts in South Africa for 35 years. And I was lucky that I sort of lived down the street from him, and we had met, and he was getting older, and he asked me basically to start helping him with some of the details of the tours. And I had some people that I also was able to recommend to him to bring in. And as he got older and older, I started taking over more of it, and he sadly passed away a couple of years ago, and I took over it completely. And it's an interesting thing to run a musical business outside of being the musical business on stage. It's it's hard. It comes with its arguments and its negotiations, but there's usually good people surrounded in the music world, and it's not we don't really make much money, so these people love what we do, and so we usually try to come to some sort of arrangement to bring art to, especially even places like Africa, because they don't have the money that, let's say, Europe and America does to offer massive fees to the artists that come through. So with the tour package and things that we were able to put together, we can usually entice some higher level people that would usually demand more money, but they can come to Africa and experience the country. They usually have some time in between concerts that they can go out to the bush or go down to the Cape, taste some wine. And yeah, we've had a lot of success inviting and re-inviting a number of successful musicians to Africa.
How do you as a pianist convey the emotions that the music is perhaps telling you to convey or express?
Well, that's a never-ending process. That the more you play, the more you sort of expose or exhibit your emotion, you get more and more comfortable on stage doing this. And sometimes you take chances and you lose control. Let's say some technical control if you really go out, somewhere in left field. So it's always a balancing act, because you want to be on that edge where it's really exciting and really gripping, but you technically have to be able to control your freedom. And so there's quasi kind of improvisatory structure. You need both sides. You need the structure to hold things together, but you need that sort of free improvisatory quality to say something interesting with the music, because let's face it, even the piece I'm playing tomorrow has been played by almost every famous pianist out there. There's 1,000 recordings. So what can I say differently with it that's not just deliberately differently, but that's naturally my own voice, my own experience, and I'm realizing more and more, trying to search for that experience without copying other people. And I mean, we have wonderful resources today with YouTube that you can watch artists left, right, and center, and you hear good things and you try ideas, and it's an interesting also learning experience for students to watch YouTube, or to listen as you listen to recordings of other artists. Through the years, you go back and you re-listen to them and you rehear things, and things that you really wanted to copy, let's say 10, 15 years ago, when maybe you weren't so creative or had all of your own ideas. You thought it was great, and then you go back and you listen to it again, and it's like, oh no, that's not me anymore. That was me as a student, but now I have my own view of this, and I'd like to express it in this way. And there's no teachers anymore. We're not at school. We're not passing or failing a test. You have to get out on stage and say something that's uniquely your own, and there's kind of when you do that, the audience knows it. There's some, they can just get it. You see artists that are just copying things, or not really saying something genuinely interesting, and there's always like a little bit of a distance. Maybe this is a little bit higher level, but they can sense it. Even somebody that doesn't know, they just don't connect in a certain way with somebody that's genuinely projecting, from the heart, let's say.